Hi there. I haven't taken any real videos of the place since I've been here, except for a couple little ones. But I thought I would have a wrap up. I try to post some of the projects that I've done, some of the progress that's been made up here, and so you can take a look around. Of course, one of the major projects was putting in paneling and insulation into my little cottage here, which was a real plus. So this is now nicely buttoned up. Having the shower tent has made a big difference between standing under a folded up ladder with a tarp around it and instead being able to go into a nice little enclosure. And give a quick shot of the field here because we don't get to see the foliage change color on this field very often, and it's a little gray today, but I think you can tell that the foliage is changing color all through here. Certainly when you get closer to looking into the woods, this is gone. Anyway, I am in the stages of packing up. Haven't taken down the cafe table yet, and there's still a lot to get in to all the places where the stuff has to go. But let's take a little walk down through our front yard here. And the big wall of stuff that I made last year along one side of the area, I have been slowly chipping up. And let's go down and see what that chipping looks like. Over here on the main trail, it's so nice to be able to walk across anywhere now without having to worry about tripping over logs and things, since I cleaned that all up last year. But let's take us down here to the tool shed. I'm busily putting things away. Actually, I spent quite some time yesterday finally repairing this door so that it can now open and close easily. Ta-da, like that. And there is my new toy of the year, the wood chipper, which took away all the stuff that was up next to the outhouse. It took away this big pile of stuff, leaving only a little bit of detritus yet to be burned up somewhere. And walk down here along the trail, and we can see what I did with some of that chipping. Come down the trail here towards the point, and you can see this chipping, this chip stuff has made this a nice, smooth walking surface all the way down to our boardwalk out to the point. Oh! I just stepped on that snake. I just stepped on a garter snake. Didn't even watch where I was walking. Oh my God. Okay, let's come out here on the boardwalk. You can see again the colors are changing. Everything is dying off a little bit. You can actually get a clearer picture of the lakefront as we're walking out here. Probably can't see it on the film, but there are little piles of acorns along this boardwalk where clearly some critters have been having little acorn parties. Squirrels or chipmunks. And another one. Every few feet there's a little pile of acorn detritus. And come up here, thread the needle through these cedars, and come out to the benchless point. See, it's a little choppy today. I'm actually going to try to get the canoe in today, but it's going to be a little choppy. Most of those pictures I posted, it's so serene and calm. But it does get like this too, with a certain amount of wave coming up on shore. This was also a big project, putting all of these stones, and unfortunately is covered with kelp at this point. We built this nice shelf of stones as a stepway into our recreation area here. I'll give you a nice pan of this cloudy, gray, choppy lake like this. I know you've all seen this view before, but it's always worth having it one more time. Okay, let's come back in here. You see all these berries are bright orange. Everything is turning its fall colors. Boardwalk, and we'll walk over to the dock area where my chips have also improved that region. And we're going to come through here and try not to step on any more snakes. Can't believe that snake wasn't pissed off enough to nip at me or something. I guess garter snakes really are harmless. That's definitely what it was, but it was a bigger one than I usually see around here. Usually they're little tiny brown snakes that look like giant worms. This was definitely a full-size garter snake. So with everything cleaned up, it's much easier to get from the boardwalk area over to the dock area. And here you can see I have started to put down stuff through here and out to here, about a good 6-8 inches of stuff. You need to fill in that whole low area with these chips so that it can grow up something nice. Come over here to the dock area, and actually the first few bags of stuff I laid down on this path to the dock because these logs were really getting hard to navigate over. Well, I filled them in, filled everything in with the wood chips, and I'm hoping that they will settle in, turn into dirt in short order. First, we need to keep chipping and sending stuff that direction. All right, so one of the projects, of course, was with Dan. Dan and I rebuilt the dock, which had been knocked off its pins and was barely functional. It was barely functional last year when I was here by myself, but I made it work, although I hurt my back doing it. But this year, Dan and I did a much better job, and Stu was nice enough to donate the remains of his old Massachusetts deck, and Stu's deck is now largely part of our dock. And we still have a few of those boards left over. That's what those are over there. We might be able to do something with it. They're pressure treated, so the boats have to come out. The canoe at least has to come out probably today. Well, it's nice. It's going to rain the next couple of days, so I'm going to get it out of the boat, out of the water, and up towards the cabin. I have to put a tarp over it. I already took down the lower bathing tent, but boy, that was a great idea too. Just cutting the breeze made bathing much nicer down here by the lake. Sitting in a little green pop-up tent. But come up here where I was working on chipping up this stuff, and as you can see, there is still a lot of chipping to be done. Although this pile here is largely stuff that is too big to go into the chipper. So we'll either cut some of that up for firewood. Of course, some of those cedar poles might be useful for something. I don't know. In any event, my plan for whatever can't be chipped is to lay it down along the property line, which is behind this pile of stuff, and make an earthen berm as it disintegrates. But as you can see, there's really still quite a lot of stuff that I didn't get to chipping up. You know, it was damp a lot of the time. It didn't rain hard, but everything got wet. It's very hard to do this when it's wet. But at least this whole area is still cleaned up and traversable. We can walk through it. We can walk anywhere through here, which makes it very nice and a big improvement over a couple of years ago when this whole place just looked like a bomb hit it. Okay, I'm going to show you this area here too. This was a huge hole. This was a very deep ravine right there. I don't know why. It was a big washed out area, and for years now, ever since we first started coming over here, I've been sweeping stuff into this hole, including the dirt and such that I took out from when we pulled out this stump up here last year. I moved a lot of that dirt down into that hole. Gary always referred to these as bear traps because they are a little squishy when you step on them. They're really just leaves. Whoa, that's right, we go right down. Although I started putting shredded leaves on top of it this year. It's filling in, slowly but surely. And it's much better than having a big ditch there. Anyway, we can see that this is greening up, calling it lawn. There's probably an exaggeration, but there's a lot of native plants and dandelions and other things that are moving down through here. So this area that I think of as my front lawn is starting to green up. The rest of that area is all nicely cleaned up. So we are back here at the cabins, and the foliage, let's see if with the increased sunshine here we can get a better shot of some of this foliage as it is changing color. Unfortunately, it's a drought here. Really, technically we're in a drought area, so that just like many years in western New York when there's been a drought, the colors go from green to brown pretty fast. We lose a lot of the yellows and reds. And same way here, a lot of this is going just from green into brown. Some reds, some things are red in there, but not too much. And really, this is the latest I've stayed so far. And I got about another week to go to clean this place up, pack it up. So we'll hope for the best. Sure is pretty, but I just wanted to document this and pass it along. Hey, wait a minute, I'm going to show one more thing here. And that is, I moved a nice chair from the cottage over to the cabin, and it has formed the basis of my nice little living room area here. Boy, what a good idea that was. Sadly, I'm going to have to move that big chair back to the cottage in order to get the canoes in here. But it made a nice little nook for me and stayed very warm, and I did things to make it even warmer. Okay, bye for now.